Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Wellness Wednesday. My name is Adrianne Ruiz, and I'm chiming in here from the very hot state of Austin, Texas. We have not had weather under 100 degrees for over 45 days. It's been so fun. But I want to welcome everybody on tonight and just share with you why I am so excited. We have a very special guest speaker for our Wellness Wednesday, and I think you're going to love everything that she has to share in regards to 3 and our biggest mission here. So for those of you guys who might be chiming in for the very first time tonight, I want to welcome you again to what we're doing in the world of 3. 3 stands for 3 things. It stands for people, purpose, and platform. Greater health to the people, a platform for entrepreneurship, and a greater purpose through a caring community. That is what we're after. And we have 6 incredible products that have different cellular delivery modalities attached to them. So we always say what sets 3 apart is that you're actually absorbing your supplements. And it's so important to supplement nowadays. And I know Dr. Val is thrilled to be sharing with you tonight. So I'm going to introduce Dr. Val, and get ready, you guys. You might even need to take some notes because she's a big deal. And we're fortunate to have her here with us tonight, and for the fact that she has said yes to 3. And, you know, she loves these products. And so we're excited to learn more about it. But Dr. Valerie Yerger is a trained naturopathic doctor. She is nationally acclaimed health policy researcher with unique training and expertise in community-based research and engagement, and especially in mixed qualitative and quantitative research methods to examine the contribution of tobacco and the tobacco industry, how they market to us, how they use the menthol cigarettes to disproportionate smoking rates among African Americans. Also, Dr. Yerger's research activities have included searching, again, the tobacco industry document archives and conducting exploratory focus group studies and collaborating with community partners and community-based participatory research projects. Her established research program focuses on framing the disproportionate burden of tobacco among marginalized communities as a social injustice issue. Isn't that cool? She recently spoke at the White House on June 1st about her research and about how stress is the driver that relates all of this together. So, Dr. Yerger, are you with us tonight? There you are. Look at your beautiful face.
I am. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine, and I'm so thrilled to have you here. I cannot believe that just a few short months ago, you were speaking in the White House about the importance of this and how stress relates to tobacco use in the US specifically, but really all over the world, right? So I feel like, and I want to say this appropriately, I feel like as somebody who's a naturopathic doctor, you deep dove like I've never seen a naturopathic doctor do before, and you really niche down and specialize to be able to help huge communities. Do you want to share with us just a little bit about like how did that get started? How did you go from naturopathic doctor to somebody needs to be the voice for this community? Let's start with that.
Well, that's a great question, and one that a lot of my colleagues ask, like, how did you end up at the University of California, San Francisco? I'm a full professor. I had to work my way up, but now I have my own funding and everything else. I've been there for 20 years. And what I learned, and I'll probably mention this a little bit more, I just felt like to make a huge impact, I needed a large audience. And I learned very quickly that I was only as impactful as a doctor when patients came in. So I just got very interested in policy work. Even in naturopathic medical school, I was very interested in policy work, and it wasn't something that we talked about. And I just, for my own sense of being able to be impactful, I wanted to have a larger audience, and policy just makes so much sense. So that's how I ended up. Have been very, very happy doing the work that I'm doing. Everything that I do in terms of how I perceive the world is through the lens as a naturopathic doctor, and as a naturopathic doctor in a very conventional allopathic medical setting, I realize almost on a daily basis how unique I am. And I've worked my way up, so people listen now. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I actually just got the chills when you said that, because people will listen now. And I think that what you did is that is so, like, your passion is is written all over the policy and everything else that's coming together that I've seen you put out there. I'm so impressed. I know several of us are impressed, but you did something so much bigger and so much greater than I think most naturopathic doctors even strive to do at some point. And I think that's massive. And I really, big kudos to you. That's worth like multiple pats on the back. And, and that's obviously why you were invited to the White House to continue speaking about this, which is phenomenal. So we are fortunate. We feel like the cool kid just arrived at 3, and we feel fortunate to have you here. So share with us a little bit why you said yes to 3, like why these products. I know that in your career that you've, promoted several different types of supplements and you've been a proponent of supplements, but what made you take a look at this company and say, oh yeah, I like it?
So yeah, well, let me share a few minutes, and maybe by the time I get finished, everybody will understand why I'm saying yes. But as a naturopathic doctor who specializes in brain health, I have always appreciated the need for nutritional supplements. I've known since the 1980s that the quality of our soils is depleted of vital nutrients. So we simply don't have a choice but to supplement, because our physical bodies, our cellular functioning, and our mental state all require vital nutrients. The jury, as far as I'm concerned, is no longer out about the important role of nutritional supplements, especially when it comes to slowing the pace of aging. Evidence now shows pronounced cognitive benefits from taking multivitamins, especially among people with chronic diseases. US data show that 40% of all Americans over 60 take a multivitamin. So there's a huge demand here. I was in naturopathic medical school when I realized I was most interested in supporting the health of individuals who didn't have any clinical signs of disease, but yet they still didn't feel well. I'm talking about those of us who have been told by our doctors and reinforced by the negative results that come back from the tests that they ordered for us that we're fine, yet we just didn't feel so fine. I started looking at the harms of stress and stress hormones, such as cortisol, when there were very few published studies in the scientific literature, but now we understand how harmful stress can be. We currently are in a new pandemic of stress overload. There have been studies conducted during and after the COVID-19 pandemic that show how the level of perceived stress across age groups, racial, ethnic lines, economic status has skyrocketed. This increased level of stress is being reported everywhere around the world. The high levels of cortisol affect the executive functioning of that part of our brain that controls how well we collaborate and communicate with one another. When this part of our brain, which is the prefrontal cortex, and you'll often see me pointing to this part of my brain as a reminder to myself and others, are we here, goes offline because of the constant secretion of cortisol and other stress hormones, we find ourselves in a fight, flight, survival mode. We don't naturally trust one another in this state. We might act like we do, but we truly don't. It's the elephant in the room no one wants to talk about. 3 International has captured my attention because our company has made purpose and people 2 of its 3 priorities. We want to change the world. We have products that mitigate the stress overload that is literally consuming so many of us. This is why I am loving our products. I've already told you about the importance of high quality multi-nutrient supplements, and we have the best one, Vitality. Then there's this thing called inflammation. The inflammation in our bodies that accumulate as a direct effect of cortisol does not always resolve on its own. It can lead to problems in our joints, our digestive system. There is a long list of other organs and systems. Inflammation is the basic starting factor of disease. Revive works directly on that inflammation. And then we have Immunity, which supports our immune system. And I'm sure we all are aware how stress interferes with the functioning of our immune system. And most of us on some level manufacture melanin. That includes the tanning we observe when we go out into the sun. if we are stressed during the time that we're tanning, we could be absorbing environmental toxins and pollution. For example, if you smoke, you accumulate nicotine and tobacco-specific carcinogens in those tissues, synthesizing melanin. Purify is a detoxifier. Hello. A study out of Columbia University and Harvard showed that the brain requires an unusually robust supply of nutrients to work properly. The principal investigator of that study said in a recent interview that he started taking a daily multivitamin after seeing his own data. So yes, I am excited about 3 International. Very, very excited.
Oh my gosh, Dr. Val. Like, I'm almost floored. Like I was writing down, I was putting on my phone, I was literally writing down some of the different things that you said in terms of stress, because I know that the products help cope with stress. They help the body cope with stress, but never has it been put quite like that before, how in-depth they are, reacting with the body in a way that's creating people to be able to think more clearly, be less stressed, have less overall free radical damage in the body due to really just the products in general. So, I mean, honestly, I'm really impressed. I keep saying that, but it's so true. I just love what you shared. When you share 3 with other people, like when you go out and you talk about 3 with other people, are those the products that you mainly talk about you're specifically targeting, or do you feel like you kind of go out and share and say, we have all of these things, what relates best to you?
Well, it depends on what people are saying to me. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love for everybody to be on everything. I totally believe in being a product of the products. That's just, I learned that from my great grandmother who was with me. And we have 5 generations living here in the Berkeley Bay Area. And all of my kids knew their great grandmother. And I got a lot of wisdom from her. And one of the things is you don't go out promoting something that you yourself are not willing to take or to do. So that is part of my core. And I recognize that people sometimes get overwhelmed. They don't quite understand. And I have to be careful in how I communicate with people, because I don't want people thinking, oh, this is Dr. Val's research, she gets it. Or I can't be like a Dr. Val and talk about this. So it really depends on the audience and how much time I have. And very often I do things by step. I'll talk to them about one thing, and especially if almost everybody's going to bring up something health-wise. But if it's really physical health, I might direct them to a colleague of mine, because my thing is talking about the effect of stress and how it keeps us from being really connected to our executive functioning, because I'm about change. And there's absolutely no way that we can come together and build a new world and change if we're hanging out in fight, flight, survival mode. And that's not just for poor people. It's not just for people of color. It's for everybody. Something has seriously happened since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. We know that. Some of us who've been dealing with stress for generations, we feel like we can deal with it better, but it's still affecting us, because you can't get used to stress, even though you think it's not bothering you. On the cellular level, is definitely having an effect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say, definitely things have changed. I think we all feel that way. I'm so glad that this company came about in the timing that it did, because I feel like it makes sense for what people are looking for. In America, we eat this much food, we get about this much nutrition out of it. We've got fake food. We have food that's got GMOs, that's filled with sugar and corn and, all sorts of stuff that are just fillers that aren't helping us either. So we wonder why we're stressed out when we're loaded up with, filler foods that aren't necessarily real either, and so I can relate to that. I mean, I definitely could. I feel like when I'm talking to people about 3 right now too, one of the number one things I come across is autoimmune issues, which are inflammation issues, which are things that, your doctor can't always address, or they do their best to address, but it's hard to know exactly where to pinpoint where the pain, where the stress is coming from, right? So I love that your focus is on stress in regards to that. So if you had, like, if you were like, I'm going to ask this kind of random question, but if you had to pick like your top products, are those your favorites? The ones that you went through the MBA, or what?
My
Those are
favorite.
your favorites. Okay. Will you
And
share?
the thing that I want to share that a lot of people don't understand, that when you're under stress, your digestive system shuts down because it's not a priority. So you have undigested food that's creeping out through your GI tract that is recognized by the body as a foreign substance. And what is it going to do? It's going to create antibodies. And those antibodies form complexes that go and hang out in the joints. So there are many of us walking around and not quite understanding, why are my joints bothering me? Why?
Yes.
So it's very, I'm really huge into education and helping people to understand. And the work that I do around stress is not even the stressor that is the issue. It's how do we reconnect with our prefrontal cortex so that we can start secreting our own feel-good hormones. Because if we're secreting our own feel-good hormones, like joy suppresses cortisol. You can't have both going on at the same time. So when you're around happy people who are doing well and you're making money, you're putting money in your pocket and you're not spending it because you're not feeling stressed to go and spend, because spending money is a stress response.
Yes.
So when you're accumulating and you're around other folks and your priorities shift and change and you feel the sense of joy, that is a reward. And that's what we get. That's why I'm going to Anaheim. I'm not going to the Congressional Black Caucus meeting in Washington, D.C., so I can be in Anaheim.
Oh.
All right, all the people know why I'm not going to D.C. I'll be in Anaheim.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, honestly, yeah, I will be in Anaheim too. I think that what you just said really struck something with me when you talked about shopping. Because during the pandemic, everyone was so stressed out. All we did was order copious amounts of things off of anything we could figure out because we were all trying to find a solution for why we were feeling the way we were feeling. I mean, it was a very difficult time. That's not lost on me. That was, you guys, I know that's not lost on you. So, these products do help with that. They absolutely help the body cope with stress. I think that's phenomenal. Real quick, I wanted to see, is there anything you want to share in regards to the delivery systems, like really what sets 3 apart from other supplements out there? Just because I think that's huge, like for people to understand, like, well, okay, you said that help with stress, but why these products? Why are they so effective in that way?
Well, I think most of us understand and appreciate the liposomal delivery. But when I'm talking to people, they don't understand what that means. I share with them. That's what I do. As a naturopathic doctor, I'm going to tell you how your body works, and we'll say it over and over again until you get it. But I tell people, because a lot of folks know what it's like to go to the bathroom and pee yellow and watch the vitamins and the nutrients come out. So when I talk about the delivery system, I talk about, one, how efficient it is and how you're not taking in a lot of nutrients that your body can't use. And because you're using the nutrients, you don't have to take as much, because people don't like to take a lot of pills. So when you say, look, you don't have to take a bunch of pills to get the effect that you absolutely get with our products. People understand that. But when you talk about the pee and how your pee doesn't, we get that.
Right. It's so true. No, that we do. We need to speak in layman terms because you're right. There's so much science involved in the products. Like we curate, we explore, and absorption is the name of the game for us. Those 3 things is really how all of our products are created with Dr. Dan, who's our chief scientific officer and formulator. And so he's got, tons of years of experience formulating, but it is like the average person isn't going to know how to say to their friend, well, it's this very special delivery. What they'll say to them is, things like that. Like, have you ever noticed that when you take XYZ supplement, you feel like it's coming right out of you, versus these supplements are truly being absorbed into the body and making a difference? So we're actually going to share we've got 3 people on tonight, 3 guest speakers who are going to share some incredible testimonials with us about their experience on 3 as well. And the first one we're going to start with is Miss Irene Smith out of Lehi, Utah. I'll say Lehi, Utah. I was going to say Salt Lake City, but Lehi, Utah. And she is a part of 3, and she's, she said yes at one point, and she's very excited to share with us tonight. And Dr. Val, you can keep your video on too, because we're going to chat with Irene for a second. But Irene, will you go ahead and just share with us a little bit about why you said yes to 3, why, and your experience on the products?
Well, I'm grateful to be here, first of all, and I feel honored to be in the same Zoom room as all of you, Dr. Yeager, and of course my dear friend Adrianne and Beata. We've known each other quite a while, and Cara as well. But I've been what you might really call a seasoned network marketer. And it was such a blessing in my life, for my family, myself, for so many years, for decades. And it worked great for me until it didn't. And what happened? What changed was integrity of product, integrity of leadership, and integrity of how things were conducted. And I'm telling you, this is like a breath of fresh air with 3. And before 3, I'd had success, and I've been so blessed because of that success, not just out of income, but helping me maintain being healthy, proactive with my health, but the relationships. That's always been a key thing that I love about this field of network marketing. But for almost 6 years, my right knee progressively got worse, and it had so much inflammation. I quit playing tennis. I quit playing pickleball. I quit playing, let's walk up the stairs and back down without pain mode. And I quit hiking. And in our singles group, our older singles group, that's a big deal around here. And when you get led down backwards from the mountain with someone on each side, you don't want to go back and be embarrassed and ashamed. And you're supposed to be the health person that everybody recognizes, So before 3, I was discouraged. I had inflammation in my knee, which hindered all of the things I love to do. And when Adrianne introduced me to 3, Adrianne and George, Adrianne is the one that would consistently drip on me for months and months, but she was patient. And I'm telling you, within a matter of 3 weeks of taking Revive, my inflammation lifted. I was able to go back to yoga. I even took tennis lessons again and did well this last spring. And I'm just excited to have the differences that have occurred in my life. I'm grateful to have an income again that I've earned from home, doing something that I love, promoting health, caring about others, and having relationships as I market these incredible life-changing products. And I feel like Kim has hit the nail on the head, because she's brought to the forefront the things that matter the most to me. And that is that we have people at the beginning, and then we have quality products with a platform to share, but we also have a purpose, and that's connecting with other people that are like-minded, that want to be in the same playing field and arena as we are. So I've always been accused of being that woman who loves the other way of life, that likes the alternative things. Well, I'm proud of it now. So what, they say. I love it. And so I'm so grateful to have you on here and talk about your field, Dr. Yerger. So anyway, grateful for 3, and grateful for Adrianne not giving up on me. Adrianne and George, dear friends of decades.
Well, Irene, I mean, we couldn't not. I was so excited when you had results on the products, and it's for everything that Dr. Yerger was sharing, the effects of what Revive does with the anti-inflammatory and, things like that is huge. I'm so glad you're able to have the relief in your knee. I knew that if I could just have you try some of the products, you would feel good. And people always laugh at me, right? Because my background is in personal training and health and wellness, and I've studied a lot of nutrition, but I always would tell people, for me, I just want you to be happier and healthier, guys. If you could just be a little bit healthier, I promise you'll be a little bit happier. And so that's what kept me calling Irene, was to make sure that you took a good look at what we were offering here at 3. Because honestly, at the end of the day, as long as I've known you, I didn't want you to miss out. I didn't want you to miss out on what we're doing here. And so grateful for your story tonight. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's very impactful, and we're just so grateful to have you on. Dr. Val, is there anything you want to say about Irene's story? Oh, you're muted.
I got you. I was going to say, Irene, I'm just so touched. I think you bring to this business a genuine authentic self that people can recognize and feel. I mean, bottom line is there's something very connective about being human and being vulnerable and talking about, this is what I had, and then I didn't have this, and then I was dealing with that, and being able to share that. I was like, dang, I want to record this and just want to share it with everyone. See, I'm not the only one. There are others who are talking about their incredible experiences with these products. So I thank you for that. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for letting me share my short story here. I have a lot of others, but you have to keep it down to the simplest bottom line, right?
So fun though having conversation with all of us, tonight though, just because you're right, there's a million and one stories we could all share about how the products have affected us too. But I love what you shared, Irene. I feel like that's super impactful. And I know Dr. Val had also touched a little bit about the way that people were dealing with things through the pandemic as well. And I know that you had a lot to share about that as well, with different types of what the products are doing for you. Having come out of that. So we would love for you to share that. Anybody who's wondering, reach out to Irene. She would be happy to share her story further. So yeah.
And that a story about Adrian and I, actually.
That all ties in, yes. For the sake of time, we'll move forward. But Irene, thank you so much. And now we have an incredible woman who's been through, oh my goodness, so much. And this is my dear friend, Cara Vandiver out of Colorado. Welcome.
Hi. I'm Cara, and I'm from Colorado, and I have a little bit different story. First, I'd like to thank the company and management and everybody behind the scenes for all their support and help, and the team members and you and George. It's been awesome, and I couldn't do it without you. My background is varied. When I was young, my mom died, and I remember her saying, "I wish I would have seen this. I wish I would have seen that." So that stuck with me all my life. And I didn't want to go through life missing anything. So I challenged myself, and I ended up in a job that would help people. And it happened to be, when I was younger, I was one of the first 10 female police officers in law enforcement on my department. I did a lot of undercover work. I did a white slavery case. I was a bodyguard for the Prime Minister of Turkey during NATO. And so my career was going great, and I loved it. But then I was on a call on a Friday night, and I was saving a 2-month-old child from a felony drug addict. And the baby was injured pretty severely. I had received the life-saving award and the police commendation for that. So they thought I was fine after that, pushed me back out on the street. I wasn't. I still had injuries to my nerves. And I chased an armed robber. He pulled his gun. I pulled mine. He didn't shoot me. Thank heavens I'm still here. So I decided to retire. And I found myself in another exciting job. And it was with Ringling Brothers Circus. I lived in Japan for a year and traveled with them. I danced. I did an elephant act and a horse act. Then I came back to the United States, and my brother was very ill. So I decided I would stay in Colorado and try and take care of him. At that time, I ended up getting a job at the law firm because I had a house in Florida, and I didn't want to fly back and forth. So little did I know, about 6 months into the job, a 500-pound filing cabinet fell on top of me. And as you know, when something falls, your reaction is to jump up and push it back. I did that. Everything seemed to pop. So I've had 18 surgeries so far, and I'm still doing a few more, putting my body back together. My income, I'm worth about $1 million, but it's not where I wanted it to be. Anyway, so like I said, my life has been completely changed from what I used to do. I used to do gymnastics and run and scuba and dance competitions, all that. Well, then during one of my surgeries, everything started going wrong. I had never had drugs in my system before, and they thought it was cancer. Turns out they had stimulated the autoimmune disease, celiac, and Barrett's. And I've got a bunch of other things. I'm considered disabled, but I wasn't going to let that put me down. So I after that surgery, I met someone and they introduced me to these products. I take all of them and I love them. And probably my top three would be the Eternal, the Revive, and the Vitality. If I can't do without those three. It has helped me get my health back. I started with almost a year in bed, went to a walker, and then a cane, and now I'm trying to throw away my cane, but I still have to have it once in a while. And because of the other medical issues, I now have service dogs. But like I said, this company, I don't know where I'd be without it. I don't know where I'd be without the products. And what my goal is to help build a multi-million-dollar company into something not just for my success, but for my team members' success. And if I can give back to society, that's my goal. But my biggest goal is if I could just help one person with their health, like these products have helped me, then I've succeeded in life.
Oh my gosh, Cara, I just want you to know I had chills multiple times through your story. You're incredible. The things that you've experienced and the fact that you're still here, you're still going, and I'm going to be feeling great, and you are on the products is phenomenal. I mean, again, I want to put a little disclaimer in here. Our products were not intended to cure, prevent, or treat any type of diseases, but I do feel that the body is the miracle. And that when the body gets what it needs, it does what it's supposed to do. And I feel like you're a perfect example of that, Cara. So I really appreciate you sharing. Dr. Val, any words from you? Oh,
the Tao that can be spoken is not the Tao. I don't know if you've heard that. But I'm thinking about all the people that we know in our lives who feel hopeless because of some physical ailment or something that happened to them. And I just think your testimony, Cara, is extremely powerful. And I think there's so many more of us who don't necessarily have any physical ailments. We're dealing with mental issues. And this speaks volumes to those people as well. So
this causes mental issues also.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing, Cara. Really appreciate it. My goodness. I think we're forever changed all hearing that tonight. So thank you so much for being courageous enough to share that. So thank you. Okay. And next we are moving on to Santa Fe, New Mexico with one of my other friends, Beata Lewis, who is just a ball of energy. And she is going to share more with you guys about why she said yes to 3. Fun fact, Dr. Val would not be here without Beata. So it all works out. It all comes full circle. So take it away, Beata. Let's hear why you said yes to 3.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Dr. Val and Adrianne, and also to 3 overall, and Cara and Irene. I think one of the primary reasons for saying yes to 3 is the quality of people who are here. The most amazing people are showing up in 3. And one of the things that I really appreciate, particularly on the team Legacy Makers, is you have generated a team that is attracting more medical and health practitioners than I have ever known to be generated in a network marketing company, and for any kind of product at all, but particularly for nutritional products. So that's a big draw. And the caliber of person that Dr. Yerger is, there are in related ways many of these people, and there are more coming, and that is awesome. I'm definitely with 3 because I'm a product gal. There are people who join network marketing because they think they're going to make the world change with money, and I really want to make the world change with health and peace of mind. And so my quick story is I just was on I had the very good fortune to take a trip of a lifetime. And you know how it is when you take a trip of a lifetime and you pack your things and you have to pack one pair of shoes. You don't pack the pair of shoes you wonder, will these work? You pack the shoes that are definitely going to work no matter what. And you pack the jacket that you can rely on in many different circumstances. And, you only choose the things that you can really count on. I packed 3. and I only ever travel with carry-on. But one of the wonderful things was that I could take 4 of the 6 products. And those 4 products are critical for proactive wellness and for actually preventing difficulty, because traveling is stressful, right? You get on the cattle call in an airplane and COVID isn't over and all these things, you're changed to your sleep. You sleep in a bad bed with the wrong pillow, all these things, right? It is actually stressful. And so the wonderful thing is to have the things that keep my system going well. So before 3, I was always a healthnik. Been a healthnik my whole life. I've taken supplements my whole life. And I took good ones before 3. But since 3, I am on fire about this thing of absorption. The idea, the very notion that our products absorb 3 and 4 times higher percentage at a cellular level than pretty much anything out there on the market. I like to spend my money on something that works. So we talked about stress and inflammation. Unfortunately, I am still recovering from a skiing injury from over a year and a half ago. And so on this trip of a lifetime in Alaska, where my body's supposed to be doing everything on, 1,000%, my left hip and knee were mad. And the thing that kept me going and able to really still enjoy Alaska in full measure were Revive. I took Revive, 2 Revive multiple times a day. And that kept me going. And I am not a fan of NSAIDs. I don't do medication. So that was my primary go-to. Also Purify, to make sure that I was keeping on the upside of things. Also, where I was traveling, COVID, it turns out, was on the upsurge. So immune was critically important. And Vitalite, just to make sure that I had the energy to enjoy everything and wake up in the morning bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, singing a song, and let's go, let's get this one. Let's grab another great day. So that's not a tale of, a crisis and fireworks, but I think a lot of people are really just looking to promote their good health, their good well-being, and do it in a way that's reliable. That's why I'm with 3. I love it.
Oh, Beata. I mean, that was so beautifully said. I think that's so true. Everything that you just shared too, it's supposed to fit in the pockets of our life. It's supposed to fit in our luggage, right? I really believe that what 3's done is they've simplified things. As like Leonardo da Vinci used to say, right? He always said simplicity is the new sophistication. That is 3's supplements. It's the sophistication of what they can do for us and the simplicity of being able to pretty much take them anywhere we go. So I really appreciate you sharing that. Real quick, I need to throw this in here so people know, because I know I'm going to get questions asked afterwards, is Beata, how did you introduce Dr. Val to 3?
Oh, that was very fun. We knew each other from a prior company, and we knew each other even before that because I am an executive coach and I work quite a lot with scientists and technical leaders. And so Val and I met in the Bay Area at a presentation that I was making about women and women's leadership. And she approached me to talk about leadership, but within 5 minutes, we're talking about health. and then it became, wow, I think I might have something that could help you. And we have been business partners and friends for many years now. So when I found something better, I immediately told Val. And I also said, listen, I know you can do all the research, but just trust me on this one. This is better. And she was like, okay, I trust you. And we both came in right away as founders.
Oh, that's such a great story. I'm so glad. I'm so grateful that you said yes, Dr. Val, to Beata. Although Beata is very convincing when she's excited about something.
Like that when I met her. I mean, she wasn't trying to sell me anything. She just simply said, well, how are you doing? And I had approached her. I said, I know that you're a coach, you're a professional coach. I want you, but I can't afford you. Can we have a cup of tea? So that's how that happened. And just during that conversation, I share with her, I have this lump. I've gone to Kaiser. I've gone to this doctor, that doctor. It's still here. And then that's when she was like, oh, I got something for you. And so that's how that happened. Just going beyond just the professional conversation, but really connecting on a human level is how that happened. And I'm here at 3 because friends don't leave friends behind. That's what that was about. So when she found out about 3, she knew that she was not going to leave me behind. Probably the rest of your friends too are with you, but yeah, friends don't leave friends behind.
That's it. Yeah.
This is, I'm almost a little bit at a loss for words, which is rare for me. But I want to say that there was something really special about tonight's Wellness Wednesday. And it's because every single one of you that's on and every single one of you that's watching, I feel like there's a different energy about tonight. And I think it comes from, again, caring about people, creating a better community, overall global community that cares about one another, that maybe isn't so focused on stress or fight or flight, but being able to find solutions for that. And we really are cultivating a platform where anybody can come on board and, get started on the products, have an incredible experience, and be able to go out and share them with other people like we're doing with you guys tonight. So I know all of my friends here are, on the same page with me with inviting any guests. So any of you guys who are seeing this for the first time, we would love for you to get back to the person that invited you on and ask them questions, right? Say, hey, I've got some questions about these products. Let them know what's going on with you. We all have things that we struggle with physically, emotionally, right? So we all have things we struggle with. So let them know, hey, this is what I've got going on. And they can point you in the direction of what pack might be best for you, which products might be best for you to start incorporating so that you too can have phenomenal results like we have all had here. And we just keep pushing forward, you guys. My goodness, we're super excited about everything we're doing. We're only in phase 1, right? We're launched currently in 12 different countries. And so we're just excited to be moving forward with 3. We're just getting started. So I love that Dr. Val said that she's made going to our Anaheim convention, which will be our first convention. We had a launch event, but none of us knew really what was going on. That's why we showed up there. Now we're moving into Anaheim convention where we're really rallying with one another. And we're moving the needle as far as making sure that everybody has access to 3. And believe me, when I say this, I do know that 3 will be a household name shortly, and we will be making a big difference together. So thank you guys so much for being on tonight, and I will see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Val. Thank you, Beata. Thank you, Cara. And thank you, Irene. And thank you, Peter, for hosting our Zoom tonight. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.
Bye.